next on the agenda is the straw hat. The straw hat has been used as a symbol of protest ever since in Palestine and Gaza, and then being used later in Indonesia, and then obviously the government came out and was like, we don't have a problem with this, but, you know, they're using it as a symbol of resistance, and that's being used in Nepal. The idea of using a Jolly Roger is not bad, right? Even the straw hat Jolly Roger is not bad. But the bad thing about this is not the fact of what people are using it for. It's the fact that people are using it but then not really fully understanding it. They don't have material backing. They do not have a material analysis of what is to be done afterwards, right? A lot of the people that are raising up the straw hat flag, even those that can be considered a form of proto-Marxist or baby leftist, are trying to fight back against a corrupt, rich institution. Jesus Christ, that was... Did you see that? Just... I want my chat to one day look like that. Oh, yeah, like, absolutely. One Piece is very much anti-capitalist. It is very much anti-capitalist in the way of, like, a bourgeois state. It is not libertarian. It is not the idea of, you know, choosing what you are to do. It is very much the idea of liberation and revolution and materially backing people, but obviously in a cartoonish kind of fairy tale way. But the problem with people using it is that some of them, or even most of them, don't really understand that that's what One Piece is about. They understand liberation to mean freedom, but without proper material backing and Marxist backing of helping others, even disconnected from the moral hegemony of capital and neoliberalism, the furthest that they will go will be something like trade unionism. That's what Lenin said, right? Is even with empathy, without proper backing and material understanding and dialectics, people will only go so far as benefiting one another within a small group, or so on. And these people that raise up the Jolly Roger flag to sail, like, what they know that it means liberation. They know that it means freedom, but they don't know how to properly achieve it other than just uprising and anger and so on. So any form of resistance is not inherently leftist, but it needs to be materially backed and understood with leftist politics of what they are resisting. They are not just resisting in general, they are resisting against bourgeois states. They are resisting against oppression. They are resisting against imperialism and so on. And it needs to be properly theoretically backed instead of just, you know, being raised up and like, here's the Jolly Roger, right? Because, like, I'm the type of person, I would absolutely raise a Jolly Roger to scare the shit out of police and politicians in a in a protest, right? Because a Jolly Roger says something, right? That's what it was. Originally, a Jolly Roger was meant to say something. It was meant to signal fear and the inherent threat of violence that would inevitably come to them if they did not surrender or sit down their arms when they saw that flag, especially on a black flag, which meant take no quarter, right? Meaning, do not take prisoners, do not take anything like that. And specifically, if you look at a lot of Jolly Rogers, where it was something like this, right? Where there was a skeleton representing death with a sword with blood on it representing violence, and then an hourglass telling them that their time is going to run out and eventually you will see violence. It was a very small pictograph that was very, very understandable in what it was doing. So I think to properly use symbolism and symbology like that, and vexology specifically with the use of flags, you should do it. But you need to have a proper understanding of what the message is supposed to say, right? So that's definitely something I think is really, really important. And understanding is that the Jolly Roger is fine to use. Any Jolly Roger is fine to use. But we just need to understand how to properly use it and materially understand it. All right, now moving on.